Don't forget to like the video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to stay updated with our latest stories. The groan that escaped my lips wasn't exactly ladylike, but neither was the stack of boxes teetering precariously in my arms. Moving. Why did I always accumulate so much stuff? Each box felt like it contained lead weights instead of old photo albums and kitchen gadgets I hadn't used in years. I decided to downsize after the kids were well and truly gone, setting up their own lives miles away. This new apartment, smaller, yes, but with a fantastic view of the park, felt like a fresh start. Or it would, once I wrestled the contents of my old life into it. I'd managed the furniture movers yesterday, but the sheer volume of personal belongings was proving challenging. I nudged the elevator button with my elbow, praying Mrs. Henderson from 3B wasn't waiting with her yappy little poodle. The doors slid open, revealing not Mrs. Henderson, thankfully, but Mark. Mark from 4A. We'd lived in the same building for nearly 6 months now, but our interactions had been limited to polite nods, maybe a held door, the usual neighborly choreography that kept things civil but distant. He was maybe 10 years younger than me, tall, with kind eyes and a quiet way about him. Always seemed to be reading a paperback whenever I saw him in the lobby or by the mailboxes. He looked up from his phone, a flicker of surprise in his expression before it settled into his usual calm mask. He took in my struggle, the leaning tower of cardboard, the strained look on my face, the sweat beading on my forehead despite the air conditioning. Need a hand with that? His voice was deeper than I expected, smooth, like worn velvet. Normally, I'd have politely declined. I'm fine, just managing, I'd say, even if my arms were about to give out. Pride, maybe? Or just not wanting to impose. But today, staring at the mountain of boxes still waiting in the hallway outside my old unit, my resolve crumbled. Oh, Mark, would you? That would be amazing. I sighed, relief washing over me. I swear these things multiply overnight. I'm in 5C now. He offered a small smile, tucking his phone into his back pocket. No problem at all, Sarah. Moving is the worst. He easily took the top 2 boxes off my stack, his movements economical and sure. Lead the way. We rode the elevator up in a comfortable silence, punctuated only by the soft hum of the machinery. I found myself noticing little things. The way his dark hair curled slightly at the nape of his neck, the faint scent of sandalwood and maybe coffee clinging to him, the strength in his hands as he held the boxes steady. He wasn't classically handsome in a movie star way, but there was an appealing solidity to him, a sense of quiet competence. My new apartment, 5C, was directly across the hall from his old one, 4A. He'd mentioned moving upstairs a few weeks back when we crossed paths by the recycling bins. Seems we were playing musical apartments. He followed me inside, placing the boxes neatly against the wall, where I indicated. The living room was still chaotic, furniture draped in sheets, more boxes everywhere. Sunlight streamed through the large window, illuminating dust motes dancing in the air. It felt bare, unfinished, echoing the state of my own life. Perhaps. Wow, this is a lot, I said, gesturing vaguely at the cardboard city. I might have underestimated the task. Looks like a standard move, he chuckled, the sound surprisingly warm. It always looks worse before it gets better. Where do you want to start? And just like that, he was involved. We spent the next hour ferrying boxes from the hallway into the apartment. He worked methodically, efficiently, never complaining, his presence surprisingly calming amidst the chaos. He didn't make unnecessary small talk, but he wasn't aloof either. He asked practical questions. Kitchen stuff here? Linens in the bedroom? And listened intently to my mumbled directions. There was a rhythm to it. The lifting, the carrying, the setting down, the brief moments our arms brushed in the narrow hallway. Each accidental touch sent a tiny, unexpected spark through me, a flicker of awareness I hadn't felt in a long, long time. It wasn't overtly flirtatious, nothing inappropriate, just noticeable. A subtle shift in the atmosphere from polite neighborliness to something else, something warmer, more connected. He carried a particularly heavy box marked books without a hint of strain, setting it down gently. "Looks like we have similar tastes," he commented, nodding towards a worn copy of a Steinbeck novel peeking out from the top. And that small observation, that simple connection over a shared author, felt like the first crack in the wall I hadn't even realized I'd built around myself. The afternoon was stretching out, the initial awkwardness dissolving, replaced by a shared sense of purpose and something else I couldn't quite name. We worked steadily, the pile in the hallway shrinking as the stacks inside the apartment grew. Mark seemed tireless, his quiet energy a welcome counterpoint to my own mounting fatigue. The initial embarrassment I felt at needing help had long since evaporated, replaced by a genuine appreciation for his kindness. We fell into an easy rhythm, sometimes chatting, sometimes working in comfortable silence. He told me a little about his job, something involving data analysis that sounded complicated but important, and I shared a few anecdotes about my kids, the reasons behind my move. It felt natural, unforced. "Okay, I think that's the last load from the hall," he announced, setting down a final, awkwardly shaped box containing lampshades. He wiped a bead of sweat from his brow with the back of his hand, leaving a faint smudge of dust. "Mark, I honestly don't know how to thank you," I said, leaning against the doorframe, suddenly aware of how tired I was. I would have been here until midnight, probably sobbing into a box of old tax returns. He chuckled again, that warm, easy sound. "Happy to help, Sarah. Besides," he added, glancing around the box-filled living room, "it looks like the real fun is just beginning." "Don't remind me?" I groaned. Unpacking is my personal Everest. Right now, though, I think I need hydration. Can I offer you something? Water, iced tea, maybe something stronger? I think I unearthed a bottle of wine somewhere in that kitchen pile. He considered for a moment. "Water would be great. Thanks." It's surprisingly warm work. I navigated the obstacle course to the kitchen boxes, rummaging until I found glasses and a pitcher I'd thankfully filled earlier. As I poured 2 tall glasses of water, adding ice cubes that clinked cheerfully, I felt his gaze on me. Not in a creepy way, but observant, curious perhaps. I turned, handing him a glass. Our fingers brushed again, lingered for just a fraction of a second longer than necessary. That tiny spark returned, warmer this time. "Thanks," he said, taking a long drink. His Adam's apple moved as he swallowed. It was such a simple, human thing, yet I found myself oddly fascinated. "Get a grip, Sarah," I told myself. "He's just being nice." So I began searching for a neutral topic. "You moved up from 4A, right? How are you liking the 5th floor?" "It's good," he replied, leaning against the kitchen counter. "Quieter, mostly, and the view is slightly better, less obstructed by that big oak tree." He gestured towards the window. "You've got a great view of the park from here." That was the main selling point, I admitted, walking over to the window. The late afternoon sun cast long shadows across the green expanse below. People strolled along the paths. Dogs chased frisbees. A couple sat close together on a bench. It looked peaceful, idyllic. After living in the suburbs for 30 years, surrounded by fences, I wanted openness. "I get that," he said, coming to stand beside me, not too close, but near enough that I could feel the warmth radiating from him. Sometimes a change of scenery is more than just geography. His words resonated deeply. This move wasn't just about square footage. It was about shedding an old skin, figuring out who Sarah was now that she wasn't primarily mom or wife. It was daunting, but also thrilling. And standing here, sharing this quiet moment with this kind, unassuming man who'd shown up like a minor miracle, felt unexpectedly comforting. We stood in silence for a few moments, just looking out the window, lost in our own thoughts, yet somehow connected by the shared view, the shared space. The silence wasn't awkward, it was companionable, filled with unspoken understanding. He finished his water, placing the empty glass carefully on the windowsill. "Well," he said softly, turning towards me, "I should probably let you get settled, or at least let you collapse on the nearest unopened box." "Right." I nodded, feeling a strange reluctance to see him go. "Yes. Thank you again, Mark. Seriously, you saved me." "Anytime, Sarah." He smiled, his eyes crinkling slightly at the corners. "If you need help tackling Mount unpacking, just knock. I'm usually around in the evenings. I might just take you up on that," I said, trying to keep my tone light, casual, but no obligation, really. "Consider it a standing offer," he replied. He walked towards the door, pausing with his hand on the knob. He turned back, his expression thoughtful. "You know, Sarah," he began, his voice a little hesitant, "it's funny. I've seen you around the building for months, but—" He trailed off, searching for the right words. "Today, helping you, talking, it feels like I'm actually meeting you for the first time." His honesty caught me off guard. It mirrored my own feelings exactly. The polite nods in the hallway felt like a lifetime ago. This interaction, born out of a simple request for help, had somehow peeled back a layer, revealing something more genuine underneath. "I feel the same way, Mark," I admitted, my voice softer than I intended. "It's nice." He held my gaze for a moment longer, a look of quiet understanding passing between us. It wasn't romantic, not exactly, but it was intensely personal, a connection forged in shared effort and unexpected conversation. It felt like standing on the edge of something new, a landscape I hadn't anticipated exploring. "Well," he said again, finally opening the door. "Welcome to the 5th floor, neighbor." He gave a small wave and stepped out into the hallway, closing the door gently behind him. I stood there for a long moment, the silence of the apartment settling around me, no longer feeling empty, but filled with the echo of his presence, the warmth of his unexpected kindness, and the startling realization that sometimes help arrives in the most unassuming packages, shifting not just boxes, but perspectives too. The chaos of the move suddenly seemed less overwhelming, overshadowed by the quiet resonance of the connection I'd just made. It wasn't just about carrying boxes, it was about sharing a moment, a real moment in the midst of transition, and that felt like the most significant thing that had happened all day. I leaned back against the closed door, a slow smile spreading across my face. Maybe this new chapter wasn't just about a new apartment. Maybe it was about opening doors, literally and figuratively. I looked around at the boxes, no longer seeing just a daunting task, but a space waiting to be filled, not just with belongings, but with new experiences, new connections. The afternoon light seemed softer now, less harsh, more inviting. I took a deep breath, the air filled with the scent of cardboard, dust, and the faint, lingering trace of sandalwood. I picked up the empty water glass Mark had left on the windowsill, the condensation cool against my palm. It felt like a tangible reminder of the unexpected turn the day had taken. Instead of tackling the unpacking immediately, I decided to just sit for a while, right there on the floor amidst the boxes, and let the feelings settle, the feeling of gratitude. Yes, but also something more complex, a sense of being seen, truly seen, perhaps for the first time in a very long time. It wasn't dramatic, no earth shattering revelation, but a quiet, profound shift within me. Mark's offer to help further echoed in my mind. Just knock. It was a simple invitation, yet it felt significant. Would I knock? Maybe the thought wasn't frightening, just interesting, a possibility. For now, though, I just wanted to savor the unexpected warmth that had bloomed in the middle of moving day chaos. He hadn't just helped me carry boxes. He'd helped me carry a little bit of the emotional weight too, without even realizing it. And that, I thought, was quite something. The park outside was bathed in the golden glow of late afternoon, and for the first time since the moving truck pulled away, I felt a genuine sense of peace, a quiet optimism about what lay ahead in apartment 5C. The silence was broken only by the distant sounds of the city and the gentle settling of my belongings in their new home. It felt like a beginning. A few days passed. I slowly chipped away at the mountain of boxes, transforming the chaotic space into something resembling a home. Photos found their places on shelves, curtains softened the windows, and the aroma of coffee replaced the smell of cardboard. Yet, amidst the settling in, the memory of Mark's help and that quiet connection we'd shared lingered. I saw him once or twice in the hallway, exchanged brief, friendly greetings, but the easy camaraderie of moving day seemed held in suspension. Was it just a one-off moment, fueled by proximity and shared exertion? Or was there something more waiting beneath the surface? One evening, wrestling with a flat-pack bookcase that seemed determined to defy assembly, frustration mounting, I found myself thinking of his offer. Just knock. I hesitated. Was it imposing? Was I reading too much into a simple act of neighborly kindness? But the bookcase instructions might as well have been written in hieroglyphics, and I was dangerously close to kicking it. Taking a deep breath, I wiped my dusty hands on my jeans and walked across the small landing to his door. I knocked softly. The door opened almost immediately, as if he'd been expecting me. He was dressed casually in jeans and a soft gray t-shirt, holding a book, finger marking his place. Those kind eyes registered mild surprise, then softened into a welcoming smile. "Sarah, hey, everything okay?" "Hi, Mark." I fumbled, suddenly feeling awkward. "Sorry to bother you, but I'm having a technical difficulty with furniture." I gestured vaguely back towards my apartment. "That offer of help you made, does it extend to deciphering Swedish diagrams?" He chuckled, closing his book. "Swedish diagrams are my specialty. Or, at least, I can offer a second pair of hands and moral support. Lead the way." Back in my apartment, the offending bookcase lay in pieces on the floor like a modern art installation gone wrong. Mark surveyed the scene with amusement. "Ah, I see the problem. Step 4 is always the killer." We spent the next hour working together, side by side. It was different this time, less about physical exertion and more about collaboration. There was laughter as we misinterpreted diagrams, quiet satisfaction when pieces finally clicked together, and easy conversation that flowed more freely than before. He asked about the photos I'd put up, genuinely interested in the stories behind them. I learned he was divorced, amicably so, and had a daughter in college on the West Coast. We discovered a shared love for old movies and a mutual dislike for cilantro. Small things, perhaps, but they felt like building blocks, creating a more detailed picture of the person behind the polite neighbor facade. As we tightened the last screw, standing back to admire the now assembled bookcase, a comfortable silence fell between us. The apartment felt cozier now, lived in, the evening light casting a warm glow. "There," he said, "ready for all those Steinbeck novels." "And more?" I smiled. "Mark, thank you. Again. You're becoming my official apartment setup superhero." "Happy to wield the Allen wrench of justice," he quipped. He lingered for a moment, his gaze drifting around the room, taking it all in. "You've made it look really nice in here, Sarah. Feels like home." "It's getting there," I agreed softly. The atmosphere shifted subtly, the easy camaraderie deepening into something quieter, more charged. It wasn't uncomfortable, but it was palpable, a heightened awareness. "Listen," he began, turning back to me, his expression serious but kind. "I know this might be forward, but I enjoyed talking with you the other day. And tonight, I was wondering if you might like to grab dinner sometime. Nothing fancy, maybe that Italian place down the street." My breath caught. It was unexpected, yet somehow not entirely surprising. The connection we'd felt, the easy conversation, the shared laughter, it hadn't just been in my head. "I'd like that, Mark," I heard myself say, my voice steady despite the sudden flutter in my chest. "I'd like that very much." A slow smile spread across his face, reaching his eyes. "Great. How about Friday?" "Friday sounds perfect." He nodded, seemingly pleased. "Okay. Well, I'll let you get back to admiring your bookcase." He headed towards the door, pausing again, just like before. This time, he didn't say anything, just offered a warm, genuine smile before stepping out. I stood there for a long moment after the door closed, the air humming with possibility. Dinner. It wasn't just help with boxes or bookcases anymore. It was a deliberate step towards something else, something unknown. And instead of feeling anxious, I felt a sense of quiet excitement, a feeling I hadn't experienced in years. It was the feeling of a page turning, revealing a new, unwritten chapter. The bookcase stood solid and steady, a testament to shared effort, but it felt symbolic of something more, the careful collaborative construction of a new connection built on kindness, shared moments, and the courage to simply knock on a neighbor's door. The unexpected had happened again, not with a bang, but with a quiet invitation.